So today, as AVE would say, we have a treat especial. Why is it special? This is 6 days after Christmas 2025. Why is that special? Because I got a real Spyderco PM2, paramilitary 2. Why is that special? I opened this knife 7,777 times. Make that 7,778 times. Today we're going to get in there, tear it down. We're going to look and see what happened inside. And we're going to talk about a few things that happened along the way. Come on, let's go inside. Take a look at this. Oh, but first, we need to step in the shop here and make a lanyard loop removal tool. That'll be a separate video. I'll see you inside. Okay, and through the magic of science, here we have the tool. So 7,780. I opened it 3 times while I was doing this. Let's cover one quick little thing. I did this I opened it a few times Christmas morning 2025, just in case anybody's wondering when this all happened. But then I put it in my pocket, and then later that day I started opening it and fidgeting with it, and I realized I was counting the number of times I opened it, and I remembered how I did the 3,000 on the bug out killer Walmart knife, and so I was like, well, okay, well, let's do it. This is a $200+ knife. Let's just see how well it'll hold up. And so I started counting. Flicking off. And I was like, okay, well, we'll try this out till 3,000 like the other one, see how it comes out. And I was like, no, this is a high-end knife. We're going double that. Well, I don't like 6, but I do like 7. So that's where I got 7,777 times. It took me 6 days to do that. So what did I do? Every 1,500 opens, I put 1 drop, shake this up, put 1 drop of this on each side on the washer. Now, what is this? This is 100% mineral oil and graphite. It's butcher's block oil. It's not the conditioner. It's I think it's the sealer. I don't know. I'd have to get it out to look at it to see. It's butcher cutting block oil. I can see it from here. It's called cutting block oil. There's a cutting block conditioner that has some beeswax in it, but this does not have it. This is just I mean, you can drink this stuff and it won't hurt you. Probably won't make you feel too good, but it won't hurt you. And pure graphite powder is what this mixture is. Now, I do realize, especially now, that it is not the best mixture to put on a knife pivot, especially not one of these, because I mean, I guess it's potentially could cause excess wear, but I don't think it will. What it'll do is contract or attract dust and debris in your pocket, and it won't stay in that pivot well. If you'll notice, all around this edge, you can see oil coming out that's been out there. The first 1,500 times I opened this knife, I didn't see that. But after I started putting this on there, I did. And so I realized that this doesn't stay in there very well. I've got something else that we're going to use. It's a secret. It's like that old, what was it, Tide commercial, Ancient Chinese Secret? Well, this is going to be an ancient chain breaker secret. But we'll go over that at the end of the video. Okay, so what do we have here? We have a Spyderco PM2. Paramilitary 2, for those who don't know what the PM2 stands for, which I don't think there's any people who don't. I've done a review on this knife, I believe. What's that? Hairs. I've done a review on this knife. I don't think it is posted. I don't even remember editing it yet. But this is an amazing knife. I love it. It is so much better than the Chinese clones. It's unimaginable. And I did do a comparison video also with this knife and the clone knife. And when you know It's blaring differences. When you don't know, you'd never could tell. So what are the pivot sizes? These are T8. The pivot screw is a T10, and I think those are T6s. Let's see. My T6 bit I've about killed. I did buy a set that had about like 3 or 4 of these in it, but I don't remember. I don't know where it's at. And so we're going to start by just doing a teardown on this knife and taking a look at everything and seeing what kind of wear, 7,000, almost 8,000 opens has on a knife. So obviously, it's going to have some effect to some degree. Don't know how much. It did make a difference. There was a noticeable difference on the knife. We'll talk about that later. But there was a noticeable difference at the what was it? 4 or 5,000. I got notes. We'll look at the notes later. Let's find the T8. I think that might be this one here. It's got to be T8. So there was a noticeable difference. Bad? No. You know what? That is about rounded off. That's aggravating. And I'm not going to mess up those torch bits for that. So let's get my old trusty out here. That's a 6. 5, 4. No. I know there's going to be a that's an 8. Oh, that's no. That's my goodness. That's what I'm looking for. I are a goober. The only downside to this screwdriver kit here is this is small, and you don't get a really great. It's hard to. It's hard to get that sometimes. So here we're going to get that screw out. And this is still screwed in over here. I'll have to hold that with something. These 2 pins right here with something to get those to break loose. Now these have a significant torque on them. We'll go back to the 10 and take this pivot screw out. And there is the issue that I did have with this knife after all these openings. We will, I think I've got a fix for it. You know what? I didn't even need them. It was really easy. I'd already pushed on this, but that was so much easier than I thought it would be. Okay. And so I will be able to show some of the differences on the internals of this knife. Then I wasn't able to on the, oh, here we go. That I wasn't able to during the comparison on the clone. So if you look right here, you'll see there's a gap right here. And the real ones have this gap. I mean, this doesn't really make sense to me. And I watched multiple videos, and I watched one with Cutlery Lover, and I trust that guy. Whatever he has, whatever he says, I think is the truth, because he knows his stuff. So, and he's not the only one, but multiples have. This right here on the fakes is actually, the scale is contoured to this piece right here. In the real one, there's a gap between the scale and the top of your lock right here. And so that right there is a significant tell that you can look down in there and see. And this, you can see a definite step up right here. On from this transition to this transition. On the fakes, it's almost non-existent and just about comes straight up. There's the barest little bit, if any, that you can see from this transition up to here. And then right here, this right here kind of stops, like way in here shy of that pivot. And on the real one, it goes all the way back up in here, and you can't really see the end of it. That's another little obvious deal on the real one versus the fake one. And another one that I went over that Cutlery Lover wasn't able to because his had leather or something all over this and glue. But these screws right here, the fakes have the three screws, but there's much more of a gap between the screw heads here and the outer edge. They're tight and more compact on this versus the fake one, which tells me you probably couldn't screw this clip onto a fake Spyderco, or a fake Spyderco's onto a real Spyderco, would be my assumption. I didn't try that. But again, with these screws and this is a very big one in my opinion, is these three holes and these three holes down here are all threaded. On the fake ones, where that pocket clip is when you get it, that is the only one threaded. So here's the washer. And I have to say, I don't see any significant, as far as I can tell, wear on the washer. Now, one thing about the Spyderco's is the washer is captured. In other words, the washer is on here, then a step pivot is put on top of it, and the same way on the other side, and then the pivot screws tighten up. And so that washer is sandwiched against this piece right here, and only the inside part of the washer is gliding on the inside of the blade here. Now, what the advantages to that is, I don't know. I honestly have no clue. But there are advantages, I would assume, because a lot of them, the washer is just in there. I think this keeps the washer from moving and probably creates less friction, would be my assumption. And I don't see any kind of a wear pattern at all. Well, on this side right here. But I can see markings that show me that this was a side against the blade, I believe. Yeah, because I don't see it on this side right here. So I think I'm going to turn these around when I put them back in, because this side was against this part right here, the blade, and it's seen almost 8,000 opens. So it would be originally like that. So let's take the blade out, set it to the side, and you can see just some, if I hold that right, and maybe you can see, maybe you can't. It's more just you can see it, but it's not real. That's interesting. 325C on the blade inside there, marked on the inside. Not really sure exactly what that means. Let me get the deal off there. I may not even bother taking the other side off. I mean, I don't know that there's really a reason to bother. Well, yeah, because I want to get that washer out. Well, I don't have to. Never mind. I'm thinking out loud, and that's probably, I should quit doing that. Now, this side right here is captured. You can barely see a D pivot there. And so the right-hand side, and that makes sense because I did watch a video where someone made a comment how holding the knife, here's the spine, the right-hand side is where they use to tension the blade. And that does make sense because the other side could potentially, I don't think it could spin, but I don't know. It's just the other side is not captured, or I don't think it's captured because it's spinning right now. So I've got to get the dime. I need to give a dime, and I don't think the Gerber dime is going to be harder than that pivot. Well, now, and I'm going to be honest, this is kind of strange. I don't see any I don't see any Loctite. At least not on the screw itself. Okay, there, I guess, yeah, I can see some Loctite inside the barrel, but there's not any on the screw. So there was some Loctite in here, and that's fine. So on this one, okay, it looks like we got edge wear here on the pivot screw. I mean, on the washer. There's nothing back here. And so other than that, it seems to be fine. I really don't know what would be right, wrong, or indifferent on these washers because I've never paid attention to the washers. I've never had a real knife to bother to have to pay attention. Clean that all off. But the ancient Chinese secret is going to be a lube that is much better than this. And it is much better than any KPL lube you have. Why do I say that? Because it is. Okay, so I literally see no signs of wear on the scale. I mean, the liner, and I wouldn't expect to see any signs of wear. I mean, because it's protected by the washer, so I wouldn't expect to see any wear on it. But if that washer somehow managed to spin, maybe you would see some, or maybe not. I would assume those are phosphor bronze. But anyway, had I needed it, this right here is designed to slip over, which let me undo this, slip over it, and then you would screw in and it would push the pivot out, and that would allow you to take it loose. To kind of give you an idea, this is a 3/8 bolt, and I machined the tip to be able to round it off to find the center and to go in. And then you can see that the outer level of this right here is smaller than the rim, but it does catch it. And so screwing it in would push that out. Now, one of the things about it is, and I'm glad I didn't need it. Get it screwed back in there. I'm glad I didn't need it because I was concerned about breaking these G10 scales. But now I don't have to be worried about that. So let me find a rag. I'll tell you what, I've got the world's greatest rags. Hold on. Okay. These rags are amazing. Very absorbent, soft. They will leave lint, but normally it doesn't matter. But in this case, we're going to use it just to clean up. And then I'll probably go over it with an eyeglass rag. If you don't know what these are, I can't help you. And I ain't going to help you. So we're just going to. I am very surprised to have like just no signs of any kind of wear at all. I would have expected to have some kind of little bit of wear. I'm not going to do anything with that residual oil that's in that scale right there. We'll just leave that. Now, but I want to get all of that butcher's block oil off of the inside here. And we're going to clean it off of the blade as well. Now you can see that discolored there. And the detent ball, which is ceramic, is not worn at all. And so that's not from it. That's from the graphite in the oil that I was putting on there. Now, I'm not sure what all of these back here are, how these are drilled. But if I had to guess, I would say that's probably some type of, some kind of whatever that is needed for an automatic version, maybe. That would be my assumption. And I probably won't count every time I open this knife, but whenever I go to just flippy flopping with it, I'll probably continue to count and periodically update with well, I'm at 8,000 and plus, and I'll just say plus because I'll definitely have counted 8,000, but the extras that I ain't paid attention to, I don't know. So anyway, so let's clean those up. Now, when I first got this knife and opened it, there was absolutely no play whatsoever. There was no up and down blade play, and there was no side to side blade play. But there is some now. Let's see. That is the fresh side. So what I'm doing is I'm turning my washers around. There's a small bit of wear on one side. I mean, minute, but not significant, in my opinion. Like you can barely see around this outer edge that this side seems to have a little more than this side over here. So if I put it back on, or next time I'll pay attention to what side I've got that on versus otherwise. And I would assume that this washer is most likely setting potentially on this side. And as I take and flick it with this finger, I'm putting pressure against the blade, which is somewhat torquing it in there and changing the pressures on the washer as I go. And that's, over 7,000, almost 8,000 times. And there's probably several hundred that I did with my left hand, but I mean, I suck with my left hand, so I didn't do very many. And I just have to let my hand rest because over so many different times, this knife does make my hand tired to continuously open and close it. So, let's see. We got this cleaned up. That's cleaned up. And we are going to grab our secret sauce. Now, we're going to look at one thing first. So right here, you've got 3-in-1 multi-purpose PTFE lubricant. So I believe that KPL is PTFE. It is probably a quality oil with PTFE in that oil, and that's what that is. And I believe that this 3-in-1 PTFE multi-purpose lubricant would be quite well for a pivot lube. I think it would work great. That's not what I'm going to use, but I think it would work great. What I'm going to use is in this bottle. Oh, am I holding the label wrong? I'm just being mean. I'm sorry. Slip 2000 EWL 30. So heavy duty weapons lubricant. Lubricates, cleans, protects, penetrates, bonds, reduces friction and wear. So this right here is a lubricant oil that is designed for firearms to be used in all environments: wet environments, salt environments, dry, arid environments, gritty environments, all kind of environments. This is EWL 30, which is, what is that? Extreme Weapons Lubricant, I think is what that stands for. 30 is like 30 weight oil. It's not what this is, but I mean, that's like I guess, kind of like a viscosity or whatever. And then I don't know what the active ingredients is. I've never read it. I just know it works. And so it's called Slip 2000. If you can find it. Now, Slip 2000 EWL should be fine, but Slip 2000 EWL 30 is a little heavier oil that should stay in the pivot and not escape out, but it'll also impregnate and bond, not necessarily bond, but soak into the metal. Let's put it that way. And kind of stay in place and provide a very good friction lubricant. So this right here is used in firearms. So it's going to be in a hot environment with lots of hot gases and burnt powder. That's a very, very gritty kind of situation. Now, why do I have this? Well, other than the obvious reason, but I got this to coat pellets. And I would, because I make my own air gun pellets, slugs, and stuff like that. And taking and coating them with this right here does help the accuracy on air gun ammunition. So that's what I got it for, but this is what I'm going to use it for. Now, I don't know if I need to shake it up, but I am going to shake it up. This right here, I'm going to take and put a little bit on the surface of the liner. And like I said, all I'd have to do is get my gubba dime and hold this one and undo that, hold this one and undo that screw, and I could take that scale off. But again, I don't really want to. I don't think I need to take that scale off. So I'm going to get this, and what do I want to put it on with? I don't want to put it on with a cotton swab. But I tell you what I'll do. I'll take the cotton off of the swab, and we'll do that. I really should take some of this KPL and put it in one of my little dispensers like this, because I got some more out in the shop. I bought a bunch of them years ago because I was always needing some kind of oil dispenser, and I'll actually use that a lot when I'm cutting metal with a parting tool on a lathe. I'll use that because it's I can just use a few drops versus just spraying or just saturating something with it. It's more precision. Let's put it that way. So you can see that it's pretty thick. And my gunsmithing history is like, oh my gosh, it's way too much. That's what it's telling me deep down inside. Oh, you know what? I can't help it. Just don't like seeing that much. All right, we're just going to go with that. Let's get the barrel. I'm going to slide it in there. And then what did I do with the screw? Man, I hope I didn't lose it. That would be about right. Okay, so I'm not tightening that up just yet. Set that there, and let's get some more on here. Well, I'll tell you what, that just feels like way too much. But I just can't get it no lesser, if that makes any sense. So let's get this in there. And then we'll put a little on here. Or unfortunately, we put a whole lot because I can't do a little apparently. And then here's this washer. That was what was towards the blade before, so I'm turning around and turn the other side towards the blade. And there's what I'm doing here is really, it doesn't serve a purpose to put it on this part because this washer should be captured basically or compressed between the side plate and the washer, the screw and all that. And so there shouldn't be a huge reason to need that. But let's turn this. Well, I'm not getting it. Oops. You know what? Just take that off. Because I need to get that in. Well, now, yeah, okay. Now I got it down on there. So it wasn't wanting to go down on there for some reason. Okay. All right. Now, get this in here. Now, I'm going to probably go back and put a little bit, and I'm not going to tighten that up a whole lot because I'm going to go back and put Loctite on there. Now, I don't see where I need them on the scales, but and I think I'm going to break my history and carry this knife tip up. I had a good bit of torque on it before, so. Okay. So that's torqued really good. Okay, and I have not adjusted the pivot. So let me just snug these up. That's snugged, and that's snugged, and that's probably too tight. Zero play again. So I just turned the washers around, and that's kind of what I was thinking would happen. Just turning my washers around and moving the washers around to where there's a little bit of wear. So that's what had happened to the knife, or that's one of the issues that came up with the knife, and that was that there has been zero up and down play, but there was a small bit of side to side. Now I'm flexing the blade. I'm flexing it in there, but I'm not. I'm not. I don't feel it in there. I don't feel it in there. When it is moving, you can feel it moving in there. So I'm very very happy with that. And I think I'm just going to leave it like this. Uh, I'm not gonna bother loosening those back up any. I'm gonna leave them like that because I really like that. That feels good. So let's put it back on here. I'm gonna put the clip back on, and we're gonna put it in the tip up configuration. I've been carrying it in tip down just like it came, and we're gonna do this. So I don't want to over torque all this. Now I didn't put Loctite on this side, and you know what? I'm not gonna put Loctite on this side. I'm gonna keep fiddling with it and see how it does without putting Loctite on it. Um, but you know what? I think I may adjust that just a little bit. Actually, I think I like that because I can get used to moving it down like that. I like them flippy floppy, but in all honesty, that's good and tight. In all honesty, there's bounce, and there's bounce with pretty much any blade like that, but it'll fall down on its own. Let's see. Let's do it again. Yeah. So I liked it. I love this knife. I literally love this knife, and I think I'm gonna like it with the tip up too, or actually tip down. I'm sorry, it was already in tip up. No, it was in tip down. I'm sorry. That's what it was in. I'm a goober. I'm a real goober. I put it back the way it was. Never mind. Um, so uh, I just can't say enough good things about this knife. There was, like I said, after 7,777 times, there was a little bit of movement, and that's gone now. Let's look at some details. These are the, and I'll just stick it under here so you can see it too. So at 1500, and I didn't change that. I just kept, this is whenever I printed all this stuff out, and I followed this schedule. So at 1500, I put 1 drop of this oil on each washer. Nowhere, blade was still tight. 3,000, I put 1 drop on each side. Still nowhere, the blade was tight. At 4,500, 1 drop on each washer, and there was still nowhere. The blade was still had no side-to-side movement. At 5,000 opens, I had minor blade shake left to right. Pivot screws were tight, and I checked them to make sure they weren't loose, but there was just the most minute. I couldn't see it so much as I could feel it whenever I was flexing the blade. Still no up or down movement. That was just completely solid. 6,000, 1 drop again, nothing changed. Still the little slight left to right. 7,000, slight lock stick if opened forcefully, if not opened forcefully. In other words, if it was, like that, then I might feel a small bit of lock stick. Now, if you open it solid like that, I never felt any lock stick. It was only when it was a light open that I could feel some lock stick, and that started at about 7,000. Then at 7,500, 1 drop on each washer, still nothing new. And once I counted up, and that's where I wrote all this out to here, and then I just kept tallied until I hit the 7,777, and still no new wear. So once it broke in and wore in, I guess is what I can say, it didn't change. At 5,000, I noticed a little bit, and at almost 8,000, after continuing on, it didn't get worse. It got to that point, and that was it. And it's still, to be honest with you, it's still not nothing that I would have called significant by any what means. It was just minor movement left to right. And this thing, and this is, I did what I was thinking about doing to fix it when I put it back together. I turned my washers in the opposite direction than they were naturally installed, because when you look at your washers, you'll see one side that has no pattern because it's not moving. And then the other side will have some kind of wear pattern on it because the blade is moving against that side of the washer. And so that's what that's the side you'll see. So once you get ever so much wear, then I decided I'll try flipping those over to see if that makes a difference. And obviously it did. And I did notice one side of the washer had a slight bit of wear versus the other side. Now, nothing in here showed any signs of any wear, any indents, any grooving, where you seen the mark where the indent ball, the ceramic detent ball, there you couldn't feel anything. There wasn't anything there. It was just a color you could see, but you couldn't feel. And I think that was just with the graphite, because what'll happen when you use graphite in there in a liquid like this, and this is what I found out, and I won't use this for knife stuff anymore. I need to put it off to the side so I don't use it for knife stuff anymore. But the graphite will tend to ball up. So graphite is like flakes that lay flat, and that's where you get your friction. Well, in this liquid, this oil, then it will tend to ball up, and all of that would want to collect lint and stuff like that. And I believe that collected up on the detent ball, and that's where it just made a graphite color pattern on there, and that's all it was. You couldn't feel anything, so there wasn't any grooving or anything like that. You look at the blade, which hopefully you can see that. And guys, I mean, if you don't believe me that I've opened it this many times, I might have another one coming. Shh, don't say nothing. If I have to prove it, I'll do it on camera. Of course, it might take us several months for me to sit here on camera and flick it open that much, because my hand does get tired. But I got no reason to lie, because I seriously wanted to know how well one of these things would hold up. Do I think one of the clones would hold up to it? No, I don't think it would. But I might do it. I may do it. I might do it with one of the clones just to see. what I end up with. May pull one of them apart, look in them, and see what the differences are versus what you've got right here. But anyway, so you can look at the back of the blade right here, and that is the lock. This is the surface that actually comes against the compression lock over here. And you can see there's no scarring, there's no shiny patterns or nothing. And there's no up and down play on the blade, so this is not wearing. If you look at, which I don't know, I can't, I don't think I can hold it. Well, no, I'm backwards. I'm sorry. Here. Here. This is the lock surface. I'm a goober. I don't know if you can even see that. I'm probably not even holding it right for you to be able to, but we'll try to zoom in here. And you can see that there's no pattern, there's no scratches, there's nothing. That is just perfectly fine. If you look at that, you'll see that that's cut at a slant, so that even if this were to wear, it would still be making positive connection with that, because that is cut across like this. So as it wears, it'll walk over here, but it's still got that ramp that it's still connecting against. And so, and I don't know if I'm expressing that right, but this right here will continue to have a good lockup. So the way this knife is designed, you should never have up and down play until you have utterly worn the complete knife out. I've opened it almost 8,000 times. I just opened it on screen. I had to go back and count 6 or 7 times. But and then there's no signs of wear. So how many times would you have to open this knife to actually wear this out? So if you get up and down play, something's damaged. You should never have that with this knife. This PM2, you should never have up and down blade play. If you do, then this compression lock has been tweaked. You have a problem. You have a serious problem. And so you need to get that looked at. See about getting Spyderco to take care of it. Now probably won't be free, but get them to look at it. I'm just so amazed at this knife. I mean, even this, where you've got the scale to the side, the blade is just perfectly in there. You can't feel anything going across there. I mean, this knife is going to be, I believe, in my pocket at all times. I don't have any intent of ever not carrying this knife. It's just, this knife was made to be carried. Now, what are some of the things I had problems with it getting used to it? So, of course, for me to open it, I mean, I can open it with this finger. Let me try. Well, I can't right now. But there, and then it's tighter than it was. Before I did all of that, my hand wasn't still weak and sore. I could open it with these 3 fingers over here, and then my thumb. In the very beginning, the only thing I could do was get, like that, and that was about the best I could do. But I figured it out. You get in there, you put your finger in the hole, get in it, and you don't try to push out. And some knives are like this. You don't try to push out. You try to push basically up, maybe at a very minimum degree, like you're trying to hit the corner of that little push out, and then you can do it. See, that's what you're doing. If you can, I don't know if you can see my thumb, how it does. That's what I'm doing. And it opens. Now, if I try to do that, that's what I get. Actually, I got it open that time. Rarely I don't get it open. But if I push up and let the pivot push my thumb over, then it's open, and I don't have any problems opening it up. And then a lot of times I'll hold it in my hand like this and open. Then I grab it and drop it back. Open. Drop it back. and you get a solid, significant thwack. And that's what I tried to do. There was a lot of times that I was just tired. My hands was tired, and I couldn't get a good solid smack when I opened it. But that's what I tried to do, was to get that thwack, and because I wanted to know if it was going to wear, and I didn't think it was, and I wasn't wrong. So when opening it, that's what I tried to get, that good solid there. That's what I was looking for when I was opening the knife. So uh, let's go over some notes. One thing to take note is at the whole 7,000 plus, in which, I mean, as of this video, I'm working on getting really close to what would it be, 7,800. I'm actually going to count them. I'm going to count how many I do this on this video so I can add them to my count. But I'm going to try to keep going and keep going to keep you updated on this knife, and if I ever have an issue. So with 7,000, almost 8,000 opens on this knife, the blade never bound up. I never had any binding or any dryness or whatever, which was amazing. The only reason why I put lube on it at 1,500 opens at a time is because I was afraid. I was afraid that it would be dry and it's just opening smooth, and that I end up, really damaging something. And so I decided, once I hit 15, I was getting kind of scared. So I said, look, I'm putting some kind of lube on there. And that's when I put 1 drop of this on each side. Worked it in, and everything, I felt everything was fine. And that's what I would do. But I never got a binding. I expected the blade to start binding up once I hit 1,000, and, to be maybe a dry socket. But it wasn't. It just went and went and went. No problems whatsoever. I had 0 issues. And of course, every 1,500 opens, I put 1 drop of this butcher's block oil mixed with graphite on each side of the washer. On one drop on each washer. And the oil is 100% mineral oil. It doesn't have the beeswax in it. Let's see. When I first started opening a knife, the way it feels right now, this little bit of it doesn't. I can shake it down, but right here, it's not just flippy floppy, which, I mean, it's somewhat flippy floppy, but it's not just full out flippy floppy. That's how it was when I first got it. The first time I got it and started flipping it open, and I was like, I hope it does loosen up, and it did. After 1,000 times, it took 1,000 flicks like that right there, and after 1,000, it was just dropping and flopping. That's what that baby was doing. And like I said, until I hit, I forget what I said, but it was 5,000. Until I hit 5,000, I didn't have any blade wobble at all. And it wasn't enough to be worried about. Matter of fact, I'd have no issues if it still had that, because it never got worse. But anyway, at 1,000, that's when it was really loosened up and just flippy floppy, and the pivot screws were still tight. They hadn't loosened up any at all. Let's see. And again, the compression lock does not seem to have worn at all. The compression lock itself, nor the blade. The blade has no marks on it from the ceramic BB detent. And the lock stick. Okay, so this is my interpretation of why this is my interpretation as to why the lock stick is on a weak open versus a hard open. So on a hard open, like that right there, in which usually when my thumb, I was really firing it out there, and he was getting a loud thwack every time. It's my opinion that the blade hits the pivot pin, the pivot pin stop, or the blade stop actually. It hits it significantly, and the the compression lock seats correctly. And then there's zero stick whatsoever. I don't even know if I can make it do it. Just the most barest minimum. Nothing there. I can't really duplicate it. It just happens when it's a weak flip open. And what I think is happening is the blade is not it's not getting into the blade stop, solid contact into the blade stop. And so there's still some downward pressure, and I think the lock, it would cam back over and close if enough pressure was put on it. So I'm just thinking that the lock is barely getting into place, and so it's got downward pressure from the knife blade not being into the proper locking position, and the lock not getting a chance to move all the way over. And I think that's why you experience a small bit of lock stick only on a weak open. When you flip that baby open, and I'm not saying you ain't got to pile drive it, but when you flick that baby open, there's nothing. I mean, you don't have any lock stick, none whatsoever. Almost 8,000 times, and this right here, no lock stick whatsoever. And again, it is now back as tight. Yep, it's back as tight as it was the day I got it. And I mean, I can even feel it getting back into the groove as I'm doing it here. I'm thinking maybe also some of this lube is in there, using like a hydraulic motion. And once I work that around in that washer real good, I think it will even get better and better. So take your Spyderco PM2 and just sit there and flip that baby open. It's only going to get better. It's going to get smoother. It's going to get better is what's going to happen. So basically, with that said, you can see it. Don't worry about opening your knife. Don't worry about wearing your knife out. What's gonna affect your knife is how you cut with it, how you hold. If you're tweaking it and trying to feather stick and stuff like that, whittle and just do whatever, then I think those torquing in here could cause some issue. I don't know. I don't intend to do that. A knife like this right here is a fidget toy as well as a functional utility tool. And so I don't, it's not going to be something I'm going to abuse. I'm going to pack what I've always called, and I hate to call the beef a trash knife because it's not a trash knife, but it's my workhorse, and this is designed to take some prying and gouging and everything else. So right now I'm carrying my Civivi FG Damascus and the Icon from Harbor Freight, which I've got a video on that one. You need to watch it. Just watch the video. I'm not going to say anymore. But this is going to eventually go back in my pockets. Maybe it'll go in my pockets as a fourth pocket knife. Now I'm carrying 4 right now. It'd be a 5th pocket knife. Because I got another pocket there I don't got a knife in. So that's probably where I put it. Anyway, so right here, get you a PM2 if you've thought about it. If you can foot the bill, get you a PM2. It's well worth having. I can't imagine not having it now that I have it. And Spyderco, if you're listening, a clone knife is the reason I have this, because of a clone knife. A well-made clone knife made me so impressed with the look and feel of a Spyderco that I had to have the real thing to experience the true Spyderco perfection, in my opinion. And that's it. That knife right there is my knife. I believe I will die with that knife, and my kids, whoever wins the fight, will get it. And I will bestow all of my blessings on them to have it, because it will be a very, very good knife for them to have. So with that said, I guess it's time to get started editing this video, because I think I want to try to have it get out there pretty soon. But it's got to be after the review on the knife. So as always, I appreciate you guys. I enjoy spending time with you. I enjoy doing this. Even if YouTube don't like me anymore, I still enjoy doing this and spending time with you guys. And I look forward to the next time that I get to see you. Thanks. We'll see you then. Your time is very important to me, and I thank you for spending it here with me. Thanks, and God bless.